Alright, so listen, today I am talking about how mantras have more value than M1s in our current state of Deepwoken. Now, if you've made a Hero Blade build or you've made a legendary weapon based build and you fought in Chime or you've done a lot of ganks, you've probably heard someone call you a mantra spammer. Or you've probably called someone yourself a mantra spammer. And that could be heavily due to the fact that they're build carried, or they actually did spam only mantras and never used a single M1. But it also is the fact that just mantras are just valued over M1s more. And there's a multitude of reasons on why mantras have more value than M1s right now. I mean, they're more versatile, they're more reliable, they land easier than M1s could ever. They provide more utility, as they should. Their damage is better unless your build is built around M1s, so you're a Silent Heart build. And they feint better than any M1 could ever do, because they don't have end lag. And that's just been the case since old Deepwoken. Monster feints have been way stronger than M1 feints. Now, how I see it, I see M1s as kind of the setup for landing mantras. But I feel like a lot of the community think that your mantras should set up your M1s. I think that's what old Deepwoken was. Your mantras were more of a setup for your M1s. Now it's like your M1s are more of a setup for your mantras. Let's look at this Gale combo, right? You hit an aerial attack, Rising Wind, and then press F, Champion's World Throw, or you uppercut, Rising Wind, Champion's World Throw. See, the M1, the first M1 is just for the hit stun, it's your setup, and then the mantras are what actually make the combo do damage. But even so, some mantras honestly set up better than an M1 ever could. For example, Fire Blade, Block Break, Fire Forge, or Fire Blade, Block Break into Flaming Scourge, or Flaming Scourge into an M1 into an Ash Slam, or Ash Slam in the Radiant Kick. There's so many different mantra combos that set up better than M1s actually do. Gale just happens to be the one that M1s the most. Now let's look at the underpowered oaths in Deepwoken. Let's look at the oaths that a lot of people are not going anymore. You have things like Oathless, Fade Trimmer, Jet Striker, sometimes even Silent Heart. I've been seeing a lot less Silent Heart builds recently. And what's that one oath? Link Strider? Yeah, Link Strider. What do these oaths have in common? They either do not have any mantras to begin with, like Jet Striker's Oathless and Silent Heart, or their mantras just aren't that strong, like Fade Trimmer and Link Strider. Now, there's also obviously multiple reasons. Like, for example, Silent Heart has a really strict requirement and only works on certain builds, and Link Strider is just very tedious to get. But something like Arc Warrior, that also has a very strict requirement, is used way more than any of the other underpowered oaths because its mantras and its talents heavily carry it. Now let's look at the weakest build you can make in this game. Attunementless. Attunementless is by far the weakest build in the entire game, and that could be for a multitude of reasons, but the main reason is it just doesn't have many mantras. You have what, like 4 mantras you can use. Your Strong Left, Revenge, maybe Exhaustion Strike, Rapid Slashes, and then Master Floor. Those are really the only 5 mantras that, I guess Shoulder Bash as well. I use Shoulder Bash a lot, but those 6 mantras are basically the only mantras that you could actually use. And because you have to have 80 in a certain stat to get those mantras to level 5, it's a lot harder to get all those mantras to level 5 versus just going 80 Flame Charm and all your Flame Charm mantras are level 5. Also, just the fact that attunements just have way more and just better mantras to begin with, and talents. But now, weapon enchants. Enchants in general aren't that strong anymore. Like something like fucking Gluttony or Elastic, the enchant just sucks. But you look at an enchant like Seer or Vampirism, which are very strong enchants, but because you have the M1 to make those enchants actually do anything, they're less used, I would say, versus something like Curse of the No Life King, which is passive health regen, which is probably the most used enchant until it got nerfed to the ground and gave 18 different fucking negatives to it. There's other exceptions like Detonation or Yunshul, but like I said, those are based around builds that are actually based for M1s. So it makes more sense for those to be on your M1s. Or I guess you can see an enchant like a Metal. I don't know. Enchants are in a really weird spot, in my opinion, where a lot of the enchants suck and a lot of the other enchants, they're really build specific. If you look at the current builds in Deepwoken, you see a lot of Hero Blade builds or a lot of minimum stat requirement heavy or legendary weapon builds, like 40 medium for Storm's Eye. Or you just see low medium in general. Like you see go 40 medium or 25 medium for just the base katana and the base champion sword. And then you those other stats just go into anything else because the talents are just more useful than the extra M1 damage. Now, I honestly don't know what meta Deepwoken is going for. Even PvE builds, they're like the current Godslayer PvE build is more heavily mantra based than M1 based. Yeah, I just wanted to ramble because I haven't rambled in a long time. And I just think this is an interesting concept of mantras having more value than M1s. Anywho, subscribe to the channel, join my Discord, follow me on Twitter, like the video. And yeah. New progression video probably tomorrow, maybe the day after. I don't know. I'm in a really weird spot right now when it comes to this YouTube shit.